Hey guys, welcome back. We're on my vlog camera today just because I was gonna sit down and film a makeup video, but I can't do it in this weather. Like, I actually can't until I get an air conditioning unit or something. Today is just too hot. Everyone in the UK right now is complaining about the heat. I love the heat, just not when I have to be inside. So instead of filming a normal kind of like makeup beauty video today, I thought I would do a day in the life of a YouTuber kind of video where I show you guys a lot of behind the scenes stuff because I've got quite a lot to do today, and I have done similar videos to these in the past, but recently when I asked you guys for video ideas, a lot of people asked if I could show a video of the kind of behind the scenes, how I edit my videos, how I make my thumbnails, how I set up all my equipment, what equipment I use, a lot of that kind of stuff. Oh, how I edit my Instagram photos. So I thought I would put it all into one video because it might be helpful for you guys. I mean, if it's not, I'm really sorry, but I can't face putting my lights on today because I film with 3 big lights. The other one is actually downstairs right now, and these lights produce a lot of heat when I'm filming, and also as well, like when I'm filming a regular kind of sit down video, I can't film with the windows open. So yeah, I thought it's just best to film on my vlogging camera, use the natural light so that I'm not as hot, and do something a little bit different. I'm still in my pajamas. I have not done anything this morning in terms of my appearance other than brush my hair because I had a parcel and I didn't want to look like I just woke it up when I definitely had. Another thing I need to do today is tidy up this filming room because it's a bit of a mess, but the first thing I'm going to go do is take a cold shower because I can't cope. I need to do something about this. I'll be right back. It is that hot that my command strips have fallen off the wall, so my lights are starting to fall down, so that's good start to the day. At least it's not just me that's melting, it's my filming room as well. Can you see this sky right now? There has been thunder for the past like half hour. I think there's about to be a massive storm. I would say that I feel so much better after just taking a cold shower, but honestly, as soon as I stepped back out and dried myself and got changed, I'm sweating just as much as I was before. If you're wondering what this is, I've actually currently got a very professional setup of a blanket hung up on my wall with some rubber bands and what are those things called? And some command hooks, and that is currently my sound absorbing thing. For my face today, I'm literally just going to do a bit of SPF, some tinted moisturiser and eyebrows, and that is it. Just because I want to look a little bit more presentable in this video, but also there's no point me putting on much makeup because it will probably last about half an hour. I'm using a little bit of the L'Oreal Skin Paradise Tinted Water Cream, which they launched. Did you hear that? These are pretty new, but I absolutely love them. I don't think I've actually mentioned this on camera before, but I really like these for like most days when I'm not doing a full face. And then I'm literally just running a bit of Gimme Brow through my brows, gonna put a bit of lip balm on, and that will be me. Well, I definitely cannot face using a hairdryer at the moment, so I think I'm gonna leave my hair to air dry. You know why I'm actually gonna put on a bit of mascara. I need a mirror. One sec. Okay, I swear this is the last of my makeup. So in my hair, I'm using a couple of products from Bumble & Bumble. These are from Look Fantastic. I have mentioned before in previous videos and on my Instagram that I'm a summer ambassador for Look Fantastic, so you can use my discount code on these. They are sponsoring this hair portion of the video. They pretty much gave me full creative control from their website. They were like, here's all our hair stuff, pick some stuff that you want to use, and I personally love the Bumble & Bumble products. They smell so good. Oh, and also as well, my discount code will work on these products, so if you also want to get your hands on some hair products, some products from Bumble & Bumble, then my discount code will save you 20% off, which is great. It's not an affiliate code, it's just my summer code for Look Fantastic. So this one here, which is the bigger one, is the Bumble & Bumble Hairdresser's Invisible Oil Heat / UV Protective Primer, and it says it's for dry to very dry hair, which is what I got. So I'm just spraying some of this through the lengths of my hair. Oh, they smell so yummy. Both of these in combination are especially good for this kind of weather because it's so hot and humid, and I want products that are gonna like keep my hair from going frizzy as little as possible. Does that make any sense? You guys know what I mean, right? I want my hair to be as least frizzy as possible. Oh, there was just a flash of lightning. And yeah, like I mentioned, this is the heat and UV protector, so if you're out in the sun, protects your hair, not just your skin. The Bumble & Bumble stuff is definitely a bit more expensive for like hair care stuff, but I do find that it lasts me a really long time. Like that bottle there is really big. And then this one is also by Bumble & Bumble. It's the Hairdresser's Invisible Oil. This also smells so good. And this says softens, silkens, tames, defrizzes, detangles and protects against heat and UV damage. So you can use this on wet or dry hair. Sometimes if I just want to add a bit of extra like moisture and shine to my ends, I will just run some of this through my dry hair. on like day 2 or 3 hair. But I also find as well with hair oils, they last ages because you need such a tiny amount. With this one, I literally just use like a pump or a pump and a half. I'm going to leave this to dry for a bit because I do not want to be putting a hairdryer on my head right now, so it can just sit here while I edit. So if you guys are after any new hair products, I would really recommend these. You can use my code on Look Fantastic and I will leave a link down below. So now that I made myself look a little bit more presentable, let's get to work. So I guess we will start with equipment. This is what opposite me looks like when I'm filming. I sit in this chair, which is currently on my desk. I just like move it over to the middle of the room. And like I said, I've got my nice DIY sound dampening thing up here. I will eventually get something better, but for now, I'm leaving it like this because this room might not permanently be my filming room. But anyway, I have this big softbox light, which almost reaches the ceiling, which was from Amazon actually years ago. I got this for my 18th birthday. I actually got 2 of them for about £40 from my parents, I think. Still lasted me all of this time. It is relatively bright. That's what it looks like when it's switched on, but I'm gonna turn it off because it's probably blinding you. Then on either side, I have these 2 lights, which were also from Amazon, I believe. So these are 2 LED panel lights. I think they're from a brand called Newer, and they just plug in. Yeah, there we go. That's the brand on the back there. You can take the cover off and just have the LEDs, but I have these like diffusing covers that came with them, and you can kind of adjust the angle of them and everything. And these are really, really bright. Let me just turn this one on and show you. So you can see here they're made up of like warm and cool lights, but it's really cool because on the back you can actually turn down specific ones, so you can have it fully warm, you can have it a mixture of both, you can have them fully cool toned, but obviously that way is not as bright, so I just kind of have them mixed. So that is it for my lighting. Then when I am filming, I will just close my blinds and also my curtains so that I just rely on artificial lighting, because that's just my preference, because the natural light is so like questionable. Then my camera is the Canon 750D. This camera that I'm filming on right now, you can see in the reflection of my viewfinder, this one is a Canon G7X Mark II, but my main channel camera is a Canon 750D. My lens isn't actually the lens that came with the camera. This is a Sigma 30mm 1.4 lens, I think, which is what has the really nice blurry background. And then I never used to use a mic, but in the past maybe like a year or 2, I got this mic, which is the Rode Video Mic Pro, and it just plugs into your camera down here. And then this tripod I've had since I was 18. This was from Amazon. I don't even think it has a brand, but it's just kind of like a bog standard tripod. Oh, and something that I would highly recommend you do is get an extra battery for your camera, because so many times when I'm filming, I will go over, like, it probably lasts for about an hour and a half before it dies, and so many times when I'm filming, the camera battery will die, and then it's so handy to have a replacement that's like fully charged and everything. So I will just put a battery in, put the spare one on charge, and then just like swap them around. So definitely do that because it saves a lot of time. So in terms of my like daily routine, I don't have a set specific structure to my day at all. I don't really do that. It just kind of depends on the day, depends how much work I've got going on. Like for example, yesterday in the morning for a few hours, I was taking some Instagram pictures for a couple of brand deals that I've got coming up. And then in the afternoon, I was editing a video, which has been like partially edited, and I need to finish editing that today. There's also things such as replying to emails, communicating with management, planning for video ideas, doing research for video ideas, which is actually a thing. Setting up my equipment takes quite a while as well, because I have to make sure that my background is all tidy, because I film in front of my makeup drawers, and a lot of the time I will leave stuff out. Also like clearing the memory card, turning on the microphone, turning the camera on, getting the right camera settings, getting the lighting right. That is another thing that goes into it. So I'm also a videography director. No, that does sound ridiculously dramatic, but that is a part of it as well. Also, I know this sounds ridiculous, but things like Instagram stories, they can take a while. The other day I sat on my living room floor and was doing some Insta stories for about an hour and 15 minutes, showing you guys new products that have come in and stuff like that. That can take a while as well. And then obviously the obvious, filming videos, editing videos, taking Instagram pictures, editing pictures. A lot of the time if I've got a brand deal or something, there'll be Instagram pictures and stories attached to it as well as a video, or it might just be Instagram focused. TikTok is now a part of my job apparently. TikToks are quite fun to make. They're definitely, I think, the easiest to make out of everything, because I do all of my TikTok stuff on my phone, whereas if I'm doing Instagram stories and YouTube videos, a lot of the time I will put them on my laptop to edit and then send them back to my phone. Well, obviously YouTube videos I don't send back to my phone, I just upload them, but you know what I mean. So obviously today's job is I'm filming another video for you guys, but the first thing that I've got to do today is edit some pictures that I took for a campaign yesterday, which was actually quite difficult because James isn't here at the moment. He normally takes a lot of my pictures for me, but he is currently away for work. So I set up my camera on my tripod and was taking pictures with my camera remote Oh, that is another thing. Get yourself a remote. If you've got a Canon camera, highly recommend the Canon remote to focus yourself and also start recording, because that, I could not do it without the remote, because I wouldn't know if I was in focus. So I'm gonna show you how I edit my pictures, and then we will talk about editing videos. Hopefully by the time I finish this, my hair will have dried a bit more. If not, I might have to use a hairdryer. Oh my god, the sky is literally black outside. The main apps that I use to edit my pictures are Facetune and Lightroom. I don't really use Facetune to do anything, like I don't alter my body, I don't alter my face or anything. Occasionally I'll add a little bit of detailing to pictures, and I will do the odd bit of smoothing, but these days I tend to just kind of leave my skin how it is, because most of the time, if it's good lighting, you can get the appearance of smooth skin anyway. But another great thing that I use Facetune for is to brighten up the background of a picture, and I will show you an example. But recently, what I have mostly just been using for my pictures is Lightroom. So I've got this photo here, which I have taken for a campaign. I took it on my big SLR camera, but the picture itself is quite dark. The sun had gone in a little bit, and I just want to brighten it up a bit, maybe enhance the colors a little bit. So I'm going to show you what I do on Lightroom. So the first thing that I would do, sometimes I press auto and see what it does, and sometimes that can help, but I don't really like how that's made it look, so I'm going to undo that. So I kind of just work my way through them. Some of the stuff on Lightroom you have to pay for, and that's these things with the little blue stars on them, so I don't use any of those. So first I click on light, and I will adjust the exposure. You can change the contrast. Highlights I tend to turn down in a lot of pictures, and shadows I turn up, and you hold down on the screen so that you can see the before and after, which is really helpful as you go along. Let's turn the white up a little bit, turn down the black. Actually, that's not quite bright enough. Let's turn the exposure up a little bit more. Then I will go into the color. I probably want to make this one a little bit cooler because it's quite warm. I usually leave the tint alone. Sometimes I would turn the vibrance up a little bit, but I don't want to do it too much because I think that just looks a bit too fake. Then the best thing about Lightroom that I find is this mix button, which is in the top right corner of the colors section, where you can individually pick the different colors. So you can turn up the individual colors. So if you look at my lips here, this is me changing the tones of the red colors in the picture. Then I go into the orange, which usually is for my skin tone, and I will turn that up just a little. You can kind of play around with the luminance of that as well. So let's just turn it up a little bit to make me look a little bit brighter. Blue, I usually kind of play with the blue a little bit to make my eyes look a little bit brighter. I mean, that looks ridiculous with those eyes, but I normally turn it up just like a little bit. And then the luminance as well you can turn up, although that's changing the color of the highlighter, so I don't want to do that. Then I will go into the effects. You can add a little bit of texture if you want to, make the picture a bit clearer with clarity, so I just turn that up a tiny bit. Usually ignore the rest of those. You can add a grain if you want to, but I don't really do that on my pictures. Then on the detail, I will turn up the sharpness a little bit. Sometimes I would do a little bit of noise reduction, which just kind of like smooths the picture a little bit. And I think for that picture, that's probably all that I want to do for it, because it is for a brand campaign. I don't want to mess around with the colors too much, but I think that looks a lot better. It's a lot brighter. It looks a lot kind of, I don't know, just clearer, nicer than this. So that's the before. This is the after. So that's what I do with a lot of my pictures. So that is my little Lightroom tutorial. And then let me just give you an example of how I would use Facetune for my pictures. The background sort of brightening tool on Facetune. It's not specifically made for this, but it's really, really helpful. So I go onto filters, click on lighting, click on lighter, or sometimes I will go on expose. Let's go on lighter. No, actually, you know what? Let's go on expose. So I know this looks ridiculous for now, but I turn it all the way up, then go on to wipe, and then click clear, so it gets rid of it over the whole picture. And then you can use your finger as a brush tool to kind of colour in the areas that you want to be brighter. The reason I turn it all the way up at the start is because that way it's a lot more obvious where you're kind of like drawing things. So let's just go around my hair, make sure that I've got all the corners of the room. Obviously I'm not going to leave it like this, I'm going to turn it down in a sec so it's a lot less obvious, but it's actually a really, really helpful tool. I'm just doing this very roughly for now. So that's how it looks for now. It looks ridiculous. Then you click back on lighting, and then you can swipe your finger to turn down or turn up the brightness. And also, once you've kind of coloured it in, you can change it. So I could change it to this lighter filter, or I could click brighten, which obviously that looks ridiculous. But I think I would just go and expose and maybe turn it up by that much, just so the background just gets a little bit brighter, because it does look quite dark, but without it, I don't want it to look too obvious. Also with this picture, I would probably just go on the details tool, maybe add a little bit of a detail to my eyes. But I don't want to do this and like colour it in because that just looked ridiculous. But I do use it a tiny bit. I usually just tap very lightly over my eyes so that it's barely noticeable. Sometimes I do it on my eyebrows as well. And that's the before and after. Can you even tell? Like, it's so subtle, but it just makes a tiny bit of difference. Sometimes I will detail my jewelry as well. And that's probably what I do for that picture. Then I'd put it into Lightroom, play around with it, and then you're done. So I did just blow dry my hair and style it, curl it, because it was really annoying me having wet hair down my back. But honestly, it's so hot today that I think after about half an hour, I'm probably also gonna have wet hair down my back, but the wet hair will be from sweat rather than me washing my hair. I'm just gonna take a little bit more oil and just run it through the ends. But I think I'm gonna have to go edit downstairs because it is so hot up here, and I went downstairs to get a drink and was like, wow, okay, it's considerably cooler down there. So I think I'm gonna go edit on the sofa, but I will show you guys how I edit, how I make my thumbnails, also my Instagram stories, and yeah, give you a little bit of inside information. Wow, oh my god, it is so much cooler down here. Hopefully this doesn't fall over. So I guess the last thing when it comes to my Instagram, for my Instagram stories, most of the time I just use the features that are already on the app. But there is an app that I've started using recently, which is called Unfold or Untold. Unfold. They have a bunch of different templates and stuff, but the only time that I really use this app is if I want to put like 2 images or 2 videos in the same sort of story. On the Instagram stories kind of section, you can copy and paste different pictures into your stories, so you can have a couple of pictures, but to get a couple of videos, I use this app which is called Unfold. So in terms of editing my videos, I started out using Windows Movie Maker on my old laptop. Then I bought a software which is called iSkySoft. I don't even think they make it anymore, and it cost me $39, I think. Then I used Adobe Premiere Pro for a few years actually, since I did my art foundation at uni in my first year of my graphic design degree. Because I had to have Adobe for my uni course anyway, I thought I may as well use it to edit my videos. So I used Premiere Pro for ages. However, since not becoming a student, they were wanting to charge me like £600 a year to get the whole package. So I cancelled my Adobe subscription, and then I bought Final Cut Pro, which is what loads of YouTubers use. It's £300 on the App Store, but once you've got it, you've got it. So you don't have to pay like a yearly subscription like you do with Adobe. If you've got a MacBook, iMovie comes free with it, and iMovie is actually a really good editor. Oh my god, can we just appreciate that I've named this project Drunk Emma and Soph Long. So I'm not gonna go like fully into how I edit on Final Cut Pro because I did just teach myself from watching YouTube videos, so there's no point watching me because there's loads of videos on how to edit, but specific things that I do. For my intro clip, I use this one which is called Veil, which is a transition. But then for moving between clips, I scroll down on the transitions one, I click on movements, and I go on this one, which is called slide. So if I just give you an example here, I will then like make that a lot smaller. It just does that. It's just like a slide. And I will go into this sound effects bit up here, type in swish. I use swish too, which is literally just like a kind of sound. And then sometimes I use some of the other sound effects, like I use the bottle cork one quite a lot. That is what I use to edit my videos. And then when it comes to thumbnails, so for my thumbnails, I actually use a website called PicMonkey, which there is a free version, but I think you can't save the images unless you like pay for the premium one. So me and Emma actually split it. We've got like a joint account, and I think it's like £70 a year or something, but it's really worth it because we use it all the time. So let me give you an example of one of my thumbnails. Let's create a new one. Right, so I will go on to whatever pictures that I've taken. I will start with one of them. Right, let's hope this actually stays. So I will go on to one picture. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Then I go on to add image, and I will add the exact same picture again. I know that seems a bit pointless, but you'll see why I'm doing it in a second. So then I can actually drag around this image. So I have that first one as kind of like a background. I will drag this over to one side. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Then I click on this erase tool here. I will increase the size of the eraser. Let's just get rid of that harsh edge. Then I usually add like a couple images. So let's just, for example, let's just do this one. So then with this second image, I go back onto the erase tool, and then I kind of just erase all of this background right up around me. So I just kind of carefully, I've got really good at this now from doing it for a while. Well, like decently good. So once I've done that, I've kind of got this second image that I can move around to wherever. And because I've got the other background behind it, it kind of just like blends in nicely, if you see what I mean. So what I usually will then do is just make this a a little bit bigger, and then just move it to about here, and then maybe move this one over a little bit so they're both kind of equal, but they both have come from the same background. Does that make any sort of sense? So that is how I get my little double images. Then at this point I will convert the layer here, do flatten layers so that I then can't move any of these, and these are stuck together now. Then I go into the edits over here, I will scroll down, I'll go on levels, just play around a little bit with the brightness, increase the sharpness, increase the clarity. Then I go onto the touch up and I will go onto mascara. I know that this is so random. Turn the brush size down, and I will just go over my eyes with this because it really makes them pop. Okay, so I know this is a bit of a random example, but that's kind of how I do my thumbnails. That's pretty much it. I can't think of anything else that I really add. Also as well, I know a lot of people use Photoshop for their thumbnails, but even when I had Photoshop, I just found it way easier to edit my thumbnails on PicMonkey because Photoshop would make my laptop go really slow and it was just really frustrating to use, so I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it on PicMonkey. Right, today's question of the day. If you guys have got any more questions for me, leave them down below with the hashtag question of the day. Today's question comes from SoSoW, and they have said, what's your favourite song right now? Need new music so I can get the Hamilton soundtrack out of my head. I love you so much, you are the best. Thank you. You know, I've never actually seen Hamilton. I don't really think it's my cup of tea. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of West End productions. The only one I've seen that I love is the Legally Blonde musical. My favourite song, I mean, other than Taylor Swift's new album, the entire album. Oh, and I just got my CD yesterday and listened to The Lakes, which was her bonus track. That is one of my favourite songs on that album. Even if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, listen to some of her new album. My favourite song on the whole album is Betty. I would recommend that one, but if we're not talking Taylor Swift, because I know that not everyone is a fan of her. Oh my god, also as well, all of the Frozen 2 soundtrack. A song called The Weekend by SZA. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Oh my god, and if you want a super, like, feel-good summer song, T-Shirt Weather by Circa Waves. I remember T-shirt weather. Right, I need to actually end this video. I've been sitting here for ages. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful. If it is, give me a thumbs up. Let me know down below if there's anything else you want to know about the whole like YouTube sort of stuff, the influencer lifestyle. I hope you're all surviving in this heat. Like I mentioned, the Bumble on Bumble products that I used on my hair, I will link down below. They are from Look Fantastic, and you can use my discount code to get 20% off. I hope you guys are doing good, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.